Ladies and gentlemen, another fine episode of Coffee with Curtis. Top of the morning to you, or afternoon, or evening, wherever the hell you are in this world. Welcome. I am joined by two of my favorite people, co-stars, and that's it, on this earth. First up, my little sister, actress, model, and just always a fun bundle of joy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one, the only, Millan Tesfazgi.
Hello.
Say what up. And we're also joined by the inimitable, is that a word? I think that's a word. Drop dead, awesome, gorgeous, brilliant actress, model herself. Miss Georgia Waters is in the house with us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It didn't switch. Here we go. Let's just boom. Hi guys.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. It's so lovely to finally see you guys. There were some complications earlier, but I can't help but to notice how funny this is. So Georgia is in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I'm in London.
Yeah, we've swapped.
How is London, by the way?
Honestly, if you had asked me like a day or like 2 days ago, I would have said, I kind of miss home. But the sun finally came out today, and wow, what a difference it makes.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. And like London in the summer is just amazing. Everyone's out in the parks, and like all the like pub gardens, and yeah.
You can actually see like differences in the buildings, which is cool. Whereas when it's raining, everything is just kind of it's relatively the same, you know. But today you see all the buildings just shine in all of its glory, which is really cool.
Like the fashion capital too. I feel like the fashion in London is probably so nice.
It's on a whole other level, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to go one day just to visit, just to see.
But the first thing that, I mean, Georgia, I'm sure you can attest to this, but the first thing you notice when you land is just the true definition of like multicultural culture.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like
you take for granted, you live there, you're like, oh, everyone must be like this, and then you go to other places and you're like, oh.
Yeah, like we think that we're diverse in Vancouver, but then until you go to a place like London and you realize, oh no, wait, Vancouver just has a lot of Asian people.
Yeah.
You come here and it's just like everything.
That's
all shades of brown, black people, Asian people, even the white people, like such a nice kind of like varied mix.
Yeah.
Very everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I feel like it's funner too, because then it's like you meet so many different types of people, and it's fascinating to like hear their stories and like their culture. And like, I don't know, even when I used to go to the States, if someone had a Southern accent, I thought it was like, oh my God. I was like, oh wow, like what do you guys do over there? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know. I just think it's fascinating.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. Millan, you're in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we swapped places.
Yeah, we did.
And then Millan, you went home.
Yeah, I just came home to visit family for a bit for the summer, because it's, why not, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's working all remote, you might as well, because who knows when we'll have the opportunity again.
Exactly. So, and it's super hot, and I mean, get to just stay in the yard with my little brother and my mom, so it's nice. I mean,
so nice.
Yeah, I'm still like really like I just stay home, and I mean social distancing. I'm like wearing a mask. Like I was a germaphobe before COVID. Like that's the thing. I was already like hand sanitizer, all that. So when COVID hit, I was like, Okay, here we go. So
Yeah. Everyone, no matter how they look, no matter their race, no matter their size, no matter their age, can be a threat. And so everyone is just, actually, I can't speak for everyone. It's more me. I'm like this with everybody, just ready to defend myself. But it seems like everyone out here is just really, really casual about this whole thing. No one's wearing masks. Everyone's just out and about.
Yeah, how has that felt for you? Because obviously you'll know how Vancouver is responding to it. So it must be strange being there when people are so much more casual.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people are casual about it here, but let me tell you, when I came from LA, and in LA, everyone was either wearing the mask or not wearing the mask, but whichever one they were doing, they had an opinion about what they were doing, and they wanted you to know about their opinion.
They were like staunch on the side.
So it's like, if you're wearing a mask, it's like, look at me, I'm wearing a mask. And if you're not wearing a mask, it's like, fuck you. Like, I don't have to wear a mask. I'm entitled to doing whatever I want. And it's just like, what?
Oh my God.
Whereas everyone here, it's almost like it's not even a thing. Some people are wearing masks, like people working in the stores and stuff like that. Some, but certainly like a month ago, no one, I swear, from the car ride, from the airport to the house, I didn't see a single person wearing a mask.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, I wonder why England's got so many high cases.
In it.
Yeah, no, I've been feeling frustrated with because obviously my friends and family are back in England, and it's hard when they're like, oh yeah, it's fine, and it's like, well, is it fine?
Yeah.
There's let go of that. You can't control what people are doing.
Exactly.
Relatives, I don't know. You're like, I want to keep you safe, but then you obviously can't. So
yeah, and you just hope for the best, really.
exactly. That's
yeah, I feel like it just being like mindful, like, and just like you said, you kind of have to like tell yourself like, okay, I can't control everything, but I could just control what I do and try my best to be mindful of everything and people around me. And I'm just curious, when you were in LA, what was that like? Because you were like there like right when I don't know what this means, but
so I moved there, finally got settled in, and then COVID hit.
Great way to start time in a new city.
Yeah. So what was the question? What was it like there?
Yeah, what was it like being there during like a pandemic, like during it's still happening, but during the start of the pandemic, I guess?
It was really, really difficult. And every day sort of opened itself to new information. So like it was literally, we were living like on a day-to-day basis in terms of figuring out how to go about our daily lives. But the thing with LA is that it's really sunny there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's really sunny, people just naturally want to go out and do things. So for me, it was really tough staying indoors because in our particular unit, there's not a lot of light. So being just trapped indoors when you know that it's 30 degrees out, or like, in Fahrenheit, it's like in its 80s, 90s, you want to go out. And so I lived right by the Runyon Canyon. So I wanted to cheekishly step out and just do my own thing. But apparently, a lot of other people had the same idea too. So everyone was just kind of bottlenecked at the top of that mountain. It was horrible. So it was tough on that front. But, in the area that I was staying in, mostly liberal people, but even within sort of my building and within, my area, you see there was just, a lot of tension. And then on top of that, when the protests started happening, it was like a really heavy, thick, like racial tension on top of the COVID tension. It was a lot. But, I think it's a necessary sort of growth period that we need to kind of that they needed to go through, that we all need to go through, and yeah, hopefully there's some light at the end of this tunnel, and we'll be better for it.
Yeah,
I believe there is.
You can't grow without pain, so
exactly.
Yeah.
What's crazy to think is that the last time we all spoke to each other was for that Comic-Con radio thing.
Yeah.
The end of Siren, which felt like yesterday. How has life been since then? I'm super curious, because you two are like two of the fan favorites on the show. Yeah. What's it been like?
I feel like it's almost like a blur, if I'm being honest. It's like Siren ended, and then I was like, oh yeah, 2020, let's go. And I was like doing my vision board, and then all of a sudden they're like, get in your house. I was like, oh, okay. So it's kind of like, it's been like, honestly, I feel like this year's it's a good opportunity just to reground. I feel like that's a huge thing, just reground, because I feel like not just in this industry, but just in our lifestyles, we're always like on the go, and we're always like, okay, what's next? On to the next. What do I want to do? Rather than just taking an actual moment to be like, how's my family doing? Let me go see them. Or how's my friend doing? Or like, what do I want to do? Separating yourself from work. Like, do you want to learn how to play piano, or do you want to go boxing? And I don't know, just little things that you maybe wouldn't take time to think about, you do now. So it just allows you to be more present. So I think for me, I've just been with my family and like my close friends, and just being present, being outside safely, of course. Like, I'll go scootering. That's like I love the electric scooter. Like,
electric. Okay, I thought you meant like the little kick.
Oh no, that's a lot of fitness. No, but yeah, just.
I'm curious though, with in regards to your vision board.
Yeah.
If you look at your vision board now though, do you still see some like connections or parallels between what's going on right now with where you're at and to actually what you manifested?
I wrote solitude on the top of my vision board.
Okay.
Which is crazy. And like time to reflect, like all this stuff that is really what COVID forced us to do.
Right. Wow.
There are a few other things that happened. Like, I put feature film on there, and I managed to squeeze that in before.
Wow.
So yeah, and I put a yellow velvet sofa on there, and obviously that was an easy one. I just had to buy one. But yeah,
still, you found a good one, and you made it happen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep talking. I'm just gonna try to pull up mine to show you guys, and it's kind of crazy. You think.
And I acquired the right team, and I've slowly been able to do that through, I've now got a manager, and I'm feeling like my team are working really well together. So there are things that I've been manifesting. There's like other bits that like go someplace extraordinary. Might not be able to do that this year, but we'll see. That could be
You never know when that can happen.
Well, there's still half the year left, so.
But you landed a new team. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Since we've last spoke, this is new?
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Spoke what, a month ago?
Yeah, it's all kind of official now, because like now my manager and my agent have like talked, and like which is lovely, because then
things are happening.
You're in the middle, like they're, you're all part of a team, which is, I think that's, as an actor, so often you feel like, I don't know, you're in this on your own, and so it's quite nice feeling like you've got people behind you and people you can ask for advice and all of that. So yeah.
Well done.
That's amazing. I still remember walking out of your place after work, and like we went for a walk on Main Street, and we were getting supplies for our vision boards. And I was like, Georgia, this is the year. Let's do it. 2020. I was like, and we were like in that little craft store for so long, and I went home and I was so excited just to like put it together. I was like, I threw on John Mayer and like put on a candle, and like ordered food and like just made a mess of the living room, but it was so fun. But I do think there's like parallels to it, because a lot of things that I put on there, I feel can't happen until like you're ready for it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times, I know that sounds, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a lot of things I feel like I thought I was ready for. And then now looking back, I'm like, oh, whoa, not yet. And then it's like you're able to reground, and actually when an opportunity presents itself, you're ready, because you actually like believe in yourself. I feel like as an actor, there's always that, whether we admit it or not, there's always a little bit of that sense of, was that good? Was that okay? Am I on the right track? And like, especially when you're just starting, like in the beginning of your career and you're learning, and you're around a lot of experienced people, you do your best to just learn, I feel. And through that though, I feel like you also need to just trust yourself and know there's a reason why you're there, and not doubt that. Because I feel like when you're auditioning, it's a blessing. But when you finally get something, you're like, oh, okay. Hey everyone. And it's like, okay, this is not an audition, like you're doing it now, and taking that in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'd say that's a very, that's a great point. And there's a parallel there to real life as well. In
Yeah.
The art mimicking life sort of way,
Mm-hmm.
where I feel like, especially as actors, we try to conform ourselves sometimes, or we try to like be what we think we're supposed to be this successful actor or what have you. And then we kind of lose track of our own selves and who we are. Speaking for myself, I mean, that certainly happened to me. But then I think with age and wisdom, maybe experience, you kind of realize, well, wait a second, like there's power in actually just developing yourself and figuring out who you are, and then letting all of this come to you and attracting these things, right?
Exactly.
So it's cool to see about. So I'm gonna share my vision board with you guys. I've never done a vision board before, so kind of like you, I went ham on it. Me and Paulo.
Hello.
Shout outs to Paulo. He was like, actually, I gave him a bunch of old canvases because I was moving, right? And he was like, why don't we just? It was like one of my last nights in Vancouver, and he was like, why don't we just do a paint night? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I had all of these old magazines that I was about to throw out, and I was like, wait a second, this could be really cool. I've seen a bunch of Pinterest people do this before. Why don't we just cut up some shit and just like, why don't we do a vision board? So he did his, I did mine. This is what I came up with here.
Yeah, I think it was our first time as well, Millan. I hadn't done one before, had you?
No, I haven't either. It was our first time. That was exciting.
Oh wow.
Cool. So this is magazine clippings pasted onto a painting. But when
I love doing a painting underneath and then sticking stuff on.
Yeah.
So here's the crazy thing. So like at this time, for me, this was a lot of like real like goal setting, and I was really aiming for, right? But if you were to really break it down in a weird way, everything still applies. When you look at Los Angeles and beyond, I literally went to LA and beyond.
I moved on, yeah.
LA was still a shot worth taking for me because still a lot of great things happened. And yeah, I can go into all of this, but my point in this is like, yeah, there's actually still so much that applies to today.
Yeah, I would be interested, Millan, if you looked at yours again and what you could, maybe you should do that after this. Go. I don't know it with you, but.
No, I honestly, I'm gonna take a look at it again. I mean, it's interesting. There were certain things that did come up in the beginning of the year where I was like, oh, that's on my vision board. Like, and it may not fully be full force, but it was just a little bit of a taste of it. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like that kind of applies. And then there's just other things, like I said, like the parallels of life in general. I was kind of this year, like, not gonna lie, in the beginning of like quarantine, I was like, oh, I got this. I'm alone all the time, blah, 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 blah. And I was like so overly confident. Then a week in, I was like, I want my mom. I was like, I want to go home. I want to see my mom. I want to see my family. And I just waited a bit though. But yeah, I got humbled. Not that I wasn't humble before, but like I was a little too confident with quarantine. I was like, I could stay in my room all day. I'm like, no, you can't. No one can. Man, but balance is so important. It's
speaking of balance, you are very disciplined, and I love watching you work because you're so hungry and so passionate about what you do, and it's really nice to see.
Thank you.
We got to hang out a little bit more a couple of years ago, like shortly after we met. But look what I found in the archives. Speaking of balance, you got to be able to turn up too, right? And I love this. This brings a huge smile to my face every single time.
Oh my gosh, yep. I remember that.
Remember this night?
Why am I wearing a big jacket like I'm still in Canada and LA? First question. Like I like roll in with my gray jacket like it's winter, but that was the funnest, honestly. I can say this, the funnest night. Like I've been to LA so many times. That was the funnest night ever. I'm being so honest. And I think it's so important to have the right community, right energy around you. I feel like when you're, especially in your 20s, it's like, I said this the other day, I'm like, I'm not 30, but I keep saying 30 is the new 20, because anyone I talk to, they're like, yeah, they're just so at peace, if that makes sense. Like they know who they are and they're still learning themselves, but they just
in their 30s, in their 30s.
Yeah. I feel like anyone that I meet, they're just, and it's like everyone's very authentic in who they are, and I love that. So when I went out that night, I remember just being like, oh my gosh, it was such a fun night. And like,
that was Veronica. Veronica,
awesome.
she really took you under her wing, and she was like, we're going to have a great time. And I was like, don't worry, you're in good hands.
I remember there's this one story where Paulo and me laugh about it all the time. I was like having so much fun. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have one more drink. Like this is fun. And me and Paulo are standing there, and the bartender brings the drink, and I literally, when they bring the drink and you smell it, like you just like, does that make sense? Like you get a whiff of like, let's say it's vodka and cranberry juice. You get a whiff of the vodka and you're like, no. Like she brings 2 full ones, and me and Paulo look at each other at the same time. We're like, no. Can you bring 2 waters? We'll still pay for it, but bring 2 waters. No. But funnest night. I've never explored LA like that. The night like that was really fun to do that with Canadians too. I was like, oh snap! Like,
but that was a good time, and I like you can really see if you gel when you can have coffee with someone, and then when you can also have a nighttime bevy with someone. And that was the first time that we really hung out sort of outside of sort of like work friendly kind of environment, right? And yeah, we tore it up.
It was so fun. Just dance the night away. I was like, and every place was so different, which I really like. There was like every place you go to, like the ambiance, the music, the vibe was so different. And Curtis like knew all. Was it you or Veronica? Like you guys knew the spots. I was like, where is this? Like
I know the spots because she showed me the spots. So I tip my hat to her.
It's Veronica. Thank you, Veronica.
Yeah.
We have to do that, Georgia, soon. One day, eventually, we have to go to LA together.
Georgia, you're next.
Definitely.
And London.
Best spots. And London, yeah.
Yeah.
All three.
I don't know if we can talk about this. Maybe I'll cut this out. Who knows? But we were supposed to do a con this weekend, right? Were you guys both on board for that?
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed out that we're not doing that, but I'm also very thankful that we're not doing that. If it wasn't up to par to how things should be. But that's why I'm glad that we get to do this, because we
Yeah,
still.
I know.
No, this is nice.
I don't know, the uplifter again after finding out we couldn't do it. So it's nice to chat anyway. So we don't do it enough. And I think as a cast, we just kind of, our souls, I think, are all very similar, and I feel very grateful to have found, I don't know, all you guys.
I know.
You guys came on board season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you guys have had 2 seasons of the show. Did it meet your expectations? Did it sort of accomplish like a goal for you guys? Did it? Yeah. What can you say about the Siren experience thus far?
Well, I think it fulfilled so much more than I expected.
Nice.
I mean, I don't know if you have a similar thing. When you first come on board, they don't really you don't know how much you're going to be involved. So I literally thought it would be like one day, one episode.
Right.
And then it unfolds, and you're then an integral part of the world, and everyone's just so amazing. I've learned so much from having someone like Rana, who's been in the industry for so long and has so much experience, and then the talent, just watching people work has been on both sides of the camera, the cast and the crew. Everyone just seems to gel really well. So yeah, and I'd watched all of season 1, so there was a little bit of me that was also starstruck, because I'd just seen everyone on screen, and then suddenly meeting them in person, I was like, oh my god, you're real. But no, it's been a real joy being part of the world.
Yeah, I agree with you with that.
So lucky though. Season 1, everyone was outstanding. Already it was the best cast and crew that I've ever worked with, hands down, and from top to bottom, from the execs to the designers to the directors that we had cast, but then down to our drivers, you know what I mean? Our catering. It was just it was that really weird, rare, just perfection of just alchemy between everybody.
It seemed to be no one would do just an okay job, or just do that. They'd go above and beyond.
Right. Yeah. And then you guys came. There was a whole new sort of group of you guys, maybe
a whole team,
5 to 10 of you, which was really interesting, because it's it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, when you think about it, one person could bring the wrong toxic type of vibes to a set, and that can permeate through the whole thing and ruin everything. So with 10 people, new people, I mean, there's a good chance that could happen. And you guys just brought even more sort of abundance of joy and pleasantries onto the set, which was, again, that topped the first year, which was just insane to see.
I feel like there's such a beautiful alignment of everyone together, like you said, the cast and the crew, and I feel like it exceeded my expectations, just the experience in itself, and the people, every single one of you are so kind, so supportive. And I think when you come on set, especially, and it's your first day on set for a show or whatever, like you said, you don't know what to expect, and when everyone's that supportive and that open-minded, it just allows you to be even more creative, because you just feel like you're in such a safe place. And I feel like everyone's family. We had each other's back. It was great.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as you say, the culture was set from season 1. So for us walking into it, it wasn't oh my goodness, what is this atmosphere we've walked into? The culture of openness and supportiveness was already set. So then you kind of slot into that, and I guess it then just grows. So
I still remember when I first met you, and when I first met you, I remember it vividly.
I remember you.
I was, when I met Georgia, I don't know, when I get nervous, I laugh all the time, and not even when I'm just nervous, I just giggle all the time. So we're in the transport on the way to set, and it's quiet. So what does Millan do? She just talks, and I don't know why I do that sometimes, but I like turned around and I just, pardon?
No, I was saying she really does.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just got the giggles. Like I saw something outside and I couldn't stop laughing. So Alvina and Georgia turn around to me. They're like, oh, like, what are you, I don't know if you remember this, but Alvina was like, what are you laughing at? And I told her and she was like, oh, okay. And she like laughed with me. And I was like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Millan. And then I met you and you're like, yeah, I'm from London. And then I went on a whole, I was like, you're from London? And you're like, yeah. And then Curtis, I remember I was walking out of the hair and makeup trailer, and you just were like, hi, you were so nice. You were like, hi, I'm Curtis. Nice to meet you. And I was like,
oh, boring.
No. But you know what's crazy? I didn't know you were in the room when the audition was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't remember. So I actually don't remember vividly meeting you for the first time, but I remember seeing you for the first time.
Yeah.
I saw your performance because I was helping out the casting director reading for that session.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I saw the
That's
work
so
you
wild.
did in the room, which was pretty special.
That's
So that's probably why I was so excited to meet you, because I was like, yes, you got it.
Yeah.
Welcome.
so awesome. No, I'm so glad I met you guys. Jeez.
Did you guys, when you guys went and auditioned for the show, did you guys see the other actors that also went in for the role?
Like as in like when you go into the waiting room and like kind of like look around? Yeah, there was a lot of people, I feel, right?
Yeah, I often blank. I don't know if it's like trauma, but I often blank that bit out. You know, when you like can't remember who was around you. But yeah, that bit is always awful though, when you're there waiting with your competition.
Especially when you get like closer and closer to it. They're like, call back, you walk in. There's like, you're like, you're on hold, but you still come back in and you're like, wait, what? And then, are you guys still looking? What's going on?
What was interesting to see was, you know, what you guys do is so difficult because it's so easy, I think, to sort of misinterpret these mermaid roles as, oh, it's easy. You just gotta just like be kind of feral and animalistic. And then I think because for most of you guys, you had to audition with old Rin sides or something like that, right?
I did have I think they just wrote some generic, maybe it was old Rin sides, maybe it was.
Maybe because I remember they may have used different names if I don't know for sure. Right. Because I know that like, yeah, I think.
But in any case, I'm saying that like it's easy to, it's kind of like how I've heard some people say, you know, say take the role of Joker, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
When you can actually identify the work that's being done, I mean, it's brilliant, right? But then there's some people that would say, oh, it's easy to play crazy. You can just, you know, just whatever. So the same thing with the mermaids. It's like seeing how, you know, every actor that came in, there was a lot that sort of just did the more generic stuff, but it's about finding the specificity of certain, like the minutia of like certain movements and certain details of just how you look and breathe and sound. That was what I was blown away from watching you guys work. Like each one of you guys had your own individualistic sort of mannerisms and vibes and all of that. I don't know if you guys can talk about that a bit, but what was the process like in creating that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Aline worked with us a lot on prep for the actual, once we'd got the roles, in terms of, because we're all mermaids, but we're all very different. And
right.
As you say, it's easy to play like feral or what have you, but we all needed very distinct,
yes.
And that's been amazing for me, like watching Cami, because she's so different to what Millan is like. She's very, you know, aggressive, unpredictable, very intense. And then whereas Eliza, yeah, you know, Eliza is more of the gentle, empathetic. I guess for me, I was trying to draw that, like every time she meets a new person, she's kind of like sensing what they're going through. Whereas I think Cami sees a new person as a threat. So it's been quite interesting every situation figuring out how we would respond. And we got a lot of time for that. You know, the first 6 episodes was all about our characters exploring.
Was that already broken down for you guys going into the audition, or was that something that was crafted once you had already booked it?
No, I didn't even know my character was a healer.
That's what I'm saying. You guys kind of all went in with a generic sort of mermaid. Yeah.
Like maybe that's the casting ended up being so good because maybe they got that aura
just from
yeah.
Wow. Actually, I remember because I went in for Eliza and Viv, and then I cold read for Cami. And then so it was like a switch. And then it's so interesting when they say, like, might sound cheesy, but sorry, that's my laundry. But when
just subtly showing off that you have in-suite laundry, no big deal. We get it, Mill. You made a lot of money this season, okay?
Oh my gosh. I was like, it's about to beep. Oh no, talk louder. But it's interesting how when you read something, like read a character's breakdown, but then when you read the lines, and I don't know if you guys ever experience it, but it just clicks. Like you can feel it. Like you're not, of course you have to do the work, but there's something that just feels right.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you do feel that feeling once, you know what, you can identify it. So, but I love, like, it was interesting for Eliza and Viv. I didn't know you guys were twins either. They were twins. Like, did you know that? Or sisters, not twins. I don't know.
And then I noticed in the scripts that suddenly we were referring to each other as friends. So we were sisters, but then I'm not sure if we are.
Oh, I've been saying y'all sisters.
I like to
sisters.
She's like, maybe we were. I never played that. That's okay.
No, we were playing that. And then I think we got a script, and it was like, I think Helen refers to Viv as my friend, and I was like, oh, maybe we. But we always now we still refer to each other. It's always like a sister. We're sisters.
Fristers.
How about you? What was I'm curious about Calvin, like your experience, like when you went in, and like how you felt when you read the scenes for the first time, maybe, or.
For me, it was similar, like very, very huge surprise in a way. So a lot of my friends had already gone out for Ben's role, for Xander's role, for Maddie's role. So I had heard about this show like months before.
Oh, wow.
So I was actually helping a lot of my friends, prep for their auditions. So like I knew the lines by heart. I knew Ben's lines, Xander's lines.
That's awesome.
But, I wanted to audition, but at the time they were only auditioning sort of big burly fisherman-esque type of guys, right? I think the sort of ideal, for instance, for Xander, I think they wanted this this is what I heard anyways. They were looking for sort of like a Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah.
Type of archetype or type of look, right? So this is burly fisherman. So for me, I'm like, I'm never gonna go out for this show. Like, but then literally like a week or two before we started shooting, Xander had a best friend named Calvin, who's Asian. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, I know I got a shorthand here. I already know the damn lines. I know this script. I know this story well. I feel like I can really add something to this picture. And I went in, I did it. I wasn't too happy. I wasn't too thrilled with my audition at all. I think I left the room going like shit.
Really?
screw this show. I didn't want it anyways. Fuck shit. Yeah, I was at Costco when my agent called me to tell me that I got it.
My God.
I was like, what? And then, you know, in Costco, it's like in this big concrete building, so there's no reception. So I was like, what? Siren? No, screw Siren. What? Huh? I got what? And then I found out I got it, so I dropped everything. And actually, know what I did was at Costco, I bought a bunch of gift baskets to celebrate. But at that time, all I knew was that I was Xander's friend, and he was very angry at Ben. All I knew. And then it wasn't until I think we were shooting the pilot, and I feel like they got a sense of who I was, and they got a sense of, you know, Calvin being maybe multi-dimensional, and that he's not just this angry guy. And they saw a bit of humor, the bit of humor that I was bringing in the pilot. Maybe offset, maybe like at craft services, they just saw what kind of idiot I was, and they're like, hey, we can use that. Because as soon as episode 2 came along, it was almost like night and day, like totally different vibes from the Calvin in the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was
TV is that you're always like inspiring the writers from what they see, and they see, oh, maybe explore this direction.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, certainly that's the narrative that I tell people.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, your character is very multidimensional. Like,
Calvin's
funny. Like, not only funny, but he can be he's very serious, but very funny. But then you can see he's also like, you care. Like, I feel like you do. But
yeah, well, I didn't realize this until pretty much beginning of this season. But like, he's completely 3-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
In that, I mean, first of all, he had a love interest, and it gets all the way to the point of marriage, which is a fun arc to play in itself. But if you think about it, he's a super loyal friend. He can throw down when he needs to. Like you said, he really cares.
Mm.
And he's always just trying. He's always just swinging for the fence, right? And he represents, I think, a lot of us in real life, where we're just trying to get by.
Yeah.
We're doing our darndest. And life just keeps on shitting on us. But hey, what am I going to do? Am I going to just quit, or am I just going to keep trying? And that's what he was doing throughout the seasons. But yeah, what I love about him is that he can be a dick. He can be hilarious. He can be sweet. He can be soft. He can be funny. I've never played a character actually that 3-dimensional before. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
Great. Good characters who, I don't know, no one's purely good. There's always going to be something where they're being selfish, or where they're being manipulative. And it's always such a gem when you get to play a character that has that full rainbow. Yeah,
like he actually had something going on every episode, which was very satisfying for me. Mm-hmm. Right. You know, so therefore it never got old to play Calvin.
I mean, you killed that role. Like, you actually, it's just,
thank you.
Every time you pop up on screen, it's literally you get hooked because it's so entertaining, because you just never know what he's gonna say. Like, you're kind of unpredictable too. Like, yes, you have the humor, but you also have, like, he has little instances where he gets super serious, and you're like, wait, that's not he's being serious there, or I don't know. It's just fun to watch. It's
more powerful because there's so much comedy, and then when it is serious, it's
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So that's what I mean. He really gets to be fully realized in his expressions, and he gets to be all over the spectrum. But yeah, I didn't know the lines half the time, so I didn't know what I was going to say half the time. So it was fun to keep it funky like that, and just it was always a big question mark every time we showed up to set.
Like, was it kind of like, would they write it like on the spot, or be like, just try doing this, or?
Uh, that happened a couple times.
Mhm.
No, I was just kidding. I knew my lines. Of course I knew my lines. I'm a professional actor, guys. Come on. Come on. But I think there were a couple times where I completely misread what was going on,
Mhm.
which then sparked like oh, interesting. And the director would be like, oh, okay, maybe we could try this. I didn't see it that way, Curtis. And then me looking back being like, oh my God, I totally misread that. But then there's always like a happy medium in between. So
Yeah.
um, from day one, when you guys showed up on set compared to the last day, what was like the biggest takeaway for you guys, or what was the biggest, I don't know, lesson learned, or yeah, your favorite bit that you can take away, you can walk away from this experience, kind of keeping with you?
I think for me, it's not just the experience, but just like the relationships that have been built. Like, I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, because that's a forever thing, you know. Like, I can meeting Georgia, meeting you, meeting the rest of the cast, and having that family unit. I think through life, you meet people, and luckily everyone was amazing. And I feel like we can always just like reach out to each other if we need help, or just having a whole new community around you is amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's for me, like feeling sad because it's kind of like a duality of being like so grateful of what it became, of this huge journey of meeting so many amazing talented people and a big network of support, but then also I guess the not knowing if we'll be able to continue that, but then also the knowledge of like, well, either way I know that support network, I know that we'll continue to support each other, we'll find a capacity to work with each other. So yeah, I think as Millan says, the people, definitely. I had no idea walking in on day one that it would be such an influential part of my life.
Yeah.
And now I've got so much to be grateful for from all of it.
Outside looking in, it really looks like you guys have some diehard, like hardcore fans that are really engaging with you guys.
Yeah.
They're amazing. The fans are great. They're super interactive and super supportive. And I think that's like so awesome, because Siren, I feel like when you have a connection to the cast, I feel like the chemistry on set with everyone is so amazing. And I think that maybe shows through the screen, and maybe people feel a part of that experience as well. And we would hope they do. So I think that's.
And at the end of the day, you know, it is all about the fans, people who watch it, and it's so nice to know that they're enjoying it, that they're finding sometimes like solace in it, that it's supporting them.
Right.
So I mean, it's always so lovely to read when people are appreciative of the show, because I'm super proud of it, and then it's nice to know that it's not just me who's proud of it, other people.
Right. It's funny, like Ian and I in season one, because our characters were a bit kind of dubious with their intentions and whatnot, because we weren't necessarily pro mermaids.
Yeah.
So we kind of got the worst of it as far as the wrath from the fans. So that entire first season, I didn't know what it was like to have supportive fans, because I just got like the people kind of cussing me out, because not only was I not necessarily pro mermaid, but I was anti Ben.
Oh yeah.
Oh, true.
You don't want to be crossing, any of these fans' Ben. It's the precious Ben. So it wasn't until second season where our character sort of came around, were we able to kind of finally get to kind of interact with some of the fans that actually wanted to talk to us, because yeah.
I didn't think about that. Of course, that your character at the beginning would have been someone that would like infuriate the fans.
Oh man, we got it all. Like,
wow.
like he had it worse than I did, because sometimes the fans, So I actually I took it I went a different route with it. I actually had fun with it. So I actually went on Twitter during season 1 and I engaged with the fans, but as Calvin. And
Yeah,
I gave no shits.
go with it more.
Yeah. And so I just had fun with it. Like when people would lash out and say something at me, I would fire something right back, but as Calvin.
That's so smart.
And most of the time, the final, like, it would lead to just the fans going, "Oh my god, like he's hilarious," or "Oh my god, I wasn't expecting anyone to actually read this." So you realize that it was just all in good fun. People kind of like making
They get invested, right? And I feel like if you're gaining a reaction out of them, you're doing your job. Like, even if they're angry, that means you really committed and made them, they reacted.
Right. Really believed in character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then now, yeah, like, you know, I look at the way that people talk about Xander, and like people love Xander.
Yeah.
The way I love Xander.
I love Xander. Such a good character.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, ha ha ha, suckers, we got you.
I feel like Cam and Xander now mended their relationship. I'm like, good. Because now we're good. So I'm like, hey, Ian, we're good now. He's like, yep.
Crazy.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. You know, hopefully we'll get some news, and maybe we can do it all again, and that'd be fun.
That'd be wow. I mean, regardless, at least we have each other. But it would be amazing.
Yeah.
What?
Until that, and whatever happens with that, what's next for you guys? What do you guys do to keep happy? I'm curious. How do you treat yourselves throughout the day, Georgia?
Well, I've felt very busy because I'm working on my own projects to get my own scripts developed and written. That's kind of my big thing. When I wake up, that's kind of what I start. But I've recently, to start my morning, and I would just like launch straight into that, and now I'm like, okay, that's not a healthy way to start. So now I'm like reading for the first hour of the day, because that usually sparks some other ideas or thoughts. I have the
reading
concept.
Books or scripts or
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like research for the script I'm working on, or it's just like fiction about something completely different. But I'm a strong believer that in order to create, you have to consume as well. And I don't mean like food, I mean like art and literature. And
right. Speaking about food, though, what do you eat for breakfast?
That changes. Sometimes it's like a banana and yogurt. At the weekends, it's always poached eggs.
Oh.
Try not to do that every day, because I've heard a rumor that eggs every day isn't great for you. I don't know.
True.
High in cholesterol.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But I love
have eggs. One yolk. Have as many eggs as you want, but just keep one yolk.
Oh. Okay. Do like an omelette just with one yolk. Okay.
Yeah.
So egg whites.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then for like decompressing, luckily I've got a lot of friends here, so, and in Vancouver you're able to like go to the beach, and that's like you're able to be distance. So yeah, that's been really nice. Just, and a lot of my friends here are in completely different industries, so it's quite nice also to talk to people who, yeah, definitely. So getting some grounding and perspective, and I guess in this time everyone's been affected in different ways, so
yeah,
takes you out of your bubble, I guess.
Yeah, I love what you said about how you read in the morning. I think that's I encourage everyone to try that.
Yeah.
Wake up, don't look at your phone.
Yeah.
Don't pick up any type of device or anything like that.
Mm.
I would say no screens, but I'm also in the process of developing something as well. And for my research, it requires a bit of reading, but I'm also trying to watch a lot of comparables. And I find watching movies in the mornings are so much better. You take so much more in.
Definitely. Yeah, that's what I mean by like, in order to create something, you have to be like feeding your creativity with other, so like watching the movies or like reading other scripts, or even like going to see art. Like everything informs. It doesn't have to be the same medium.
Yeah, I'm trying the new discipline of doing not necessarily the most important things of the day, but doing the things that I know that if I don't do them, I'm gonna wind myself up about. So if it's working out, or if it's having a difficult or stressful phone conversation, or if it's to see that movie or to read that thing, I have to do it in the morning now. Otherwise, it might not get done.
Yeah. And often it doesn't get done because you're like, oh, it's a bit late now.
Yeah.
And your brain power, well, I think it depends on people's energies, but I'm definitely a morning person. So like getting it done in the morning, just it sets your whole day up then, because you're like, oh, I've achieved those challenging things that I wasn't looking forward to.
Yeah. This whole COVID time has taught me so much. A lot of eating nearly as much simultaneously started.
I feel like that kind of happened to me where I just had a lot of time. So within that time, it just made me realize a lot of things. And one of them was just, it's so simple, but it's the hardest concept to get, is being present and not trying, like with COVID happening too, in this world pandemic and everything happening in the world, it made me realize like, we don't have control over tomorrow. We don't have control over the past. The future's not, it doesn't exist yet. So for me, I feel like my main focus was learning to be present and just have gratitude. And gratitude is a practice. I feel like you kind of have to like rewire your brain in a way to wake up in the morning, be thankful, write some affirmations if that helps, whatever it might be. And sooner or later your brain just clicks, like you're like, yes, like okay. And I feel like for me that's what it was, because it was like go 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 for 4 years. And what's next, and oh, I want to do this in the future, rather than just like looking around and being thankful for what you do have already. So for me it was like breaking, I guess, old thinking patterns. I would say, like, for me it was not that they were bad, it's just kind of evolving from that and going, okay, no, that's old way, this is new way.
Yeah,
it's so sad because everyone that I've talked to has had their own version of that.
Yeah.
Realizing that their lives were just too go go go, and they would need to slow down. And you know, I see the word happiness tossed around a lot, and that's really it, isn't it? Like when you can really truly be present.
Yeah.
And be grateful of the present, and be grateful of what's exactly that's in front of you, no matter you know, whatever that is in relation to your life, may it be good or bad, but you still have to be able to enjoy the present no matter what. Can you truly be happy, right?
I think we have such a capacity to fill time, as in before COVID it would be like, right, I've got a free day tomorrow, what shall I throw into it? Whereas I think the big learning for me is you need time in order to think about things properly, in order to reflect, in order to progress in yourself as well. You can't develop yourself if you're just constantly doing things all the time.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, even in here too, right? We constantly fill our mind up with either, you know, anger, fear, anxiety, stress. And when that takes up most of your brain, you got nothing left to actually see the opposite. And yeah, that's the main thing I see. It seems like the common denominator for a lot of people is just realizing that happiness doesn't always have to be around the corner.
Exactly. Yeah.
Next page. It doesn't have to be, oh, when I do this, that equates to happiness, right?
Yeah.
You can find it within what you have already.
And I feel like even this year, just within the media and whatnot, you see like people passing away, or, you know, things happening like that. And it just makes you think twice about life and how grateful you need to be just to even be alive, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. So I feel like taking every day just to take everything in. As I don't know, it's so simple, but it's like it's weird. It's a hard concept to like practice, but it's one of the most important concepts. I feel like we need to.
It's life, isn't it? It's like that yin and that yang.
Yeah. Like what you were talking about before, Curtis, is finding the things that do bring you a lot of joy, that you do have control over, whether that's you know, a book or if it's creating some art. I think that's what COVID has taught me, is focusing on the things you can control, which as actors, I think that's such a powerful thing for us to learn, is to on that, because there's so much we don't have control of.
Right.
So I think COVID's kind of forcing us all into that kind of training.
I think we're going to be really wicked when we come
Yeah.
out of this.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I hope so. Anyways, I hope whatever it is that we're sort of manifesting in these times stick with us, because I personally, I've never been happier, which is kind of weird to say in these times that we're in, but I've been very, very appreciative of this time to be able to unplug and find passion and joy.
And press pause.
Yeah.
I think it's needed that way. You can, as you say, like focus in on what is important to you and what you want to be spending your time doing.
Yeah.
I definitely think in terms of, I feel a new focus and fire within me.
Yeah.
I think having a pause in, say, auditions or like projects being made, it's made me rethink, okay, what would I like to be seeing made? What stories just haven't been given any light so far and should be? Because I do feel like there is a tendency within our industry to see a lot of the same stories regurgitated with a little twist. And there's so many important stories out there that just haven't been given the light yet. So I guess having that time to reflect on that and to research them more, and to literally have the kind of the blank canvas of like, okay, no auditions are happening, because often that is, you know, it takes a lot of effort to audition and to learn the lines and to prep. So it has been, I don't know, necessary, I think, to have that pause and space to knuckle down into what stories are important to me. Because as actors, I think you don't always just want to be doing necessarily what you're given. Or think about, okay, what stories do I want to be telling? Because projects you're going to get more passionate about.
What about outside of the creative space? Like, do you guys have anything that you've picked up in this time that sort of lights your soul up a bit? I just picked this up. So our place here in London, there's a door that slides up, almost like a garage style thing, but it's connected to the kitchen. And there's kind of like it used to be an old working men's club in the back, but it's been turned into sort of like a really cool modern workspace for people to kind of get out of their house and work in a communal space, right? So there's always people constantly walking past my kitchen. And so I kind of jokingly said to the owner of the club, I said, you know, I might just, don't be surprised if I open up this window one day and just start like my own food truck sort of business, right? And he was like, ah, ha, 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 but like jokingly, he's like, oh, you should do it. And I was like, you know what?
You were like, I'm gonna do it.
So I started making my own homemade granola.
No way!
This episode is brought to you guys by that good.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
I've always loved cooking. Now, admittedly, I used to rarely ever cook. Prior to COVID. Since COVID, you know, I've cooked a lot more. But when I'm in the zone, I freaking love it, and I'm very passionate about it. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is my snacks. And I've always been known to I'm like the snack king, but I try to keep it healthy. And so I decided to kind of make my own version of granola, but like super healthy, it's a bit cheeky, but it's got the best quality ingredients you can put into granola.
It has great packaging, I feel. Like that's great packaging right there.
I'm just slanging these out my window.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I hijacked that. So for you guys, yes, is there anything outside of the
I've been, at the beginning of COVID, I had so many hobbies I took up, like knitting, painting. I think, yeah, I was just kind of grasping at whatever I could fill my time with. But I think now I've calmed down more, and now it's, as we're able to like explore more, for me, it's just been like going camping at the weekends, or yeah, because luckily here in DC there's just so much outdoor space to explore, which has been lovely. But yeah, I still have a half finished scarf that I started knitting at the beginning of COVID.
It'll be by winter.
Yeah, I should pick that up again, so it's done. Yeah, how about you, Millan?
I've been just cooking a lot and baking.
Your it's delicious.
I honestly find it just to be so, it just like relaxes me, and it's kind of bad because I enjoy like baking now, like a lot, but I do it at the most random times. It'll be 11 p.m. I'm like, I want to bake, and then I start baking at 11 p.m. But then you wake up with some cupcakes.
Yeah, and you've got cupcakes in the morning.
Exactly. And then also I feel like I am obsessed with scootering at the moment. Like I just love it. Like I'll call my friend and be like, you want to go scootering around the block? Like it just feels, it's so weird. I feel like I came back to like my childhood. Like, do you know what I mean? When you like reunite with like your childhood friends and like your family, and you're around the same block, and you're calling each other like, you want to go for a walk and grab a coffee quickly, safely, of course. But I feel like I've just taking it all in.
Yes. Nothing else, man. This is what I'm most grateful for this time, to reset and to really find these pieces of joy and happiness that we can learn to kind of incorporate back into our lives.
And keep even when like things get busy again.
Yeah.
Learning.
But I love what you said, Millan. Like there's been many times where I felt like a 6-year-old boy again.
Yeah.
And that can come out of nowhere. It could be just from,
it's the best feeling.
Running in the streets, playing basketball. I saw the other day, so I've been having a really interesting week. There's been a lot of like synchronicities or coincidences, whatever you want to call them, that have been happening. Like I'm seeing a lot of, numbers that are the same numbers that are popping up. I thought of my dad the other day, and I was like, I haven't spoke to him in a long time. I wonder how he's doing. And then boom, just like that, he emails me telling me about how he's doing, I was like, what? But the other day I saw the craziest thing, or I'll quickly share with you guys. This guy, he was pushing this, like, it looked like a custodian cart. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Like a janitor's cart sort of thing. But he was pushing the cart down the street, and it seemed like everyone was just avoiding him. Like think of like a shark swimming through the water, and all of these, like a bunch of fish just like moving out of the way, avoiding the shark. And so I was like, interesting. Like, I love watching people. I love people watching. So I'm kind of like, oh, what's going on here? Let's see how these people, oh, interesting. And people were avoiding him, but little did I know he had a stick on him, similar to like what Aline does with her stick wielding. Yeah. He started busting out all of these ninja moves with his stick, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's intense." I got to keep watching this. I didn't have my phone on me. I wish I filmed it. But next thing you know, he did a somersault onto the street and did this ninja roll to pick up a tissue that was on the street, and he rolled back, and then he dunked it into his bin. And I was like, that's strange. Didn't see that coming. And then he went back again, and he started doing these like triple axles, and again, another somersault across the street to pick something else up, ran back and dunked And I just couldn't help but think, wow, this is incredible. Look how passionate this guy is
Yeah.
for something as sort of trivial as picking up garbage. He was a rogue garbage man that just took it upon himself just to keep the streets clean.
And practicing his ninja moves.
But he had so much joy in doing it. I've never seen that level of commitment or but just joy and passion in someone doing something like that before. And I was thinking, wow, this is like Jim Carrey level of character.
Yeah.
Right? Because he kind of reminded me of Ace Ventura, the way he was moving. I kid you not, the second I thought that, this bus passes by, and lo and behold, who's on that bus? Jim Carrey promoting Sonic with the kind of. So that had to be a sign. That had to be a sign of like.
Go write that story.
To write that story, or to be more like that guy.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
What you said, the little joys, the fact that he was just like taking it upon himself just to be happy and.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer because I know that we've been chatting a while, but I like to leave off all of my segments with sort of a random act of kindness. So we've been doing this on the show. It all started with a friend of mine. His name's Johnson. We play this game where every time we get together, we try to ding people. And dinging people means sort of doing something to make their day or to brighten up their day. Okay. And so what I'm wondering is, what could the three of us do together right now where we can make someone's day out there better? With so much negativity and so much sort of horrific things that are happening out there. A lot of people are angry. A lot of people are sad. A lot of people are, struggling. And so we can contribute to sort of working against that imbalance. That would be great.
Done before.
Well, we've messaged fans. We've donated money to charities. We've shouted people out. We've sent someone flowers. We've called people to say we love them.
Aww.
That sort of thing.
Yes. Love and joy.
Do either of you have or know anyone that's maybe got something going on, whether it's a charity or some sort of platform that we could support, or know of anyone that's going through a tough time? Or it's tough when you're on the spot, isn't it?
Because I know for a fact, it's like once you hang up, all these thoughts come into mind and you're like, oh, this, and this, right?
Or at the moment, there's so many things that are more immediate in terms of what people are struggling with. Like one thing that I have thought of and I haven't done anything about it yet, is people who are in lockdown but that cannot leave lockdown because they are they have an issue, they have an underlying disease, so whilst they see everyone else going back to some form of normality, they're still struggling, like especially like young carers. I listened to a podcast where there's young carers looking after like disabled parents, and so they're like 16 or 17, but they're still having to like look after their parents. But I haven't looked into that. So, but that is something.
That's a good one.
So what I've been doing is I just always check up on people. Like I'll shoot them a text in the morning, see if they want to go for a walk, social distance walk, just little tiny things that can like let them know that it's like, hey, if you need anyone to talk to, like you can talk to me as well. And just keeping them busy, so they're not so cerebral. I find that you can get so in your mind, and sometimes you just need to be more in your body, like do something active, anything, just to feel more present. So that's kind of what I've been aiming at, is just like checking up on like family and friends and seeing how everyone's doing. And then educating myself as well on what's going on, like the different causes that have been brought up online. Like I know with like even like Turkish woman, I didn't know about that, so I thought, okay, let me look into this and see what's going on. Watched a documentary on it, but yeah, just been educating myself so that like when I do speak on certain topics, at least I know where the information is coming from, and hopefully I can find an understanding and help someone out either way.
You just gave me a good idea.
Good.
Because, beautifully said, by the way, both of you guys. Because I feel like you guys, well, we have such great dedicated fans. Actually, as soon as you said Turkey, there was this particular fan that popped into my mind that has been super supportive since day one. The Siren Turkey account.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Right?
It sparks, yeah, because I remember it's like siren.turkey, I don't know, something like that, right?
What if we were to just like the three of us just like a photo or just like say hi and just I bet you that would make their day.
Let's do it.
Speaking of Turkey.
Yeah.
Speaking of Turkey.
No.
Or I mean that is a thing, right? I swear I could have.
I think it's. I know you're right, because I know that there was. I think if you type in just siren.
Siren turkeys. Siren.
Oh, is it Siren Turkey?
There's Siren Turkey _ Siren Turkey Siren.turkey.
You guys mind? Can I loop you guys in on a chat with this Siren Turkey person, and then we just say hi?
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet you he or she. I'm guessing it's a she. I don't know why. It just feels like a she.
Let's do it.
Would love that. So. Siren Turkey. Boom.
You sent something to me?
We're in there.
Perfect. Oh, this is awesome. That'll make their day.
I guess it's a good point anyway, going back to like what you can control, like just giving other people little moments of joy. Oh, thank you.
You know, I'm a strong believer in that the energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. And you never know, the smallest thing can, on a micro level, can lead to a macro level. You know what I mean? Like something as simple as just like a small compliment or a smile at someone could literally put them on a whole different course of trajectory for the rest of their day, which could lead to the rest of their week. And the butterfly effect and all that. I don't know if you believe in all that, but you never know. And that's the kind of thing I'm trying to promote. So
everyone is stuck at home. You don't know, you might be the only person that person comes across in their day, and if you're smiling,
100%.
Yeah.
I am a believer in that. If we can have more love and more gratitude in our day-to-day lives, I think things can get better and things can change. So
and compassion. I think compassion.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Compassion and understanding.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
Listen. With that, ladies, thank you so much for humoring me and joining me today. Loving that Tim Hortons coffee. So Canadian of you.
Yeah.
Way to represent all day, every day. Yeah, I miss you guys. I really, truly look forward to the next time we get to all be in a room together, so I can give you guys a big old hug. I can't wait to see what's next for you guys, and whenever they unleash us out there, I know you guys are gonna kill it. So
thank you. I miss you guys and I love you guys. So let's do a cheers, like a virtual little.
Okay.
Don't break. I actually literally hit my webcam. Man.
Much love, you guys.
Thank you, Curtis, by the way, for inviting us on. It was great.
You got it. Thank you for being here.
Love you guys.
We'll be in touch soon, okay?
Yeah, have a good day, everyone.